Welcome to this edition of Labor Vision. I'm Bob Delaney, Executive Director of the Institute for Labor Studies and Research. Labor Vision, a production of the Institute, focuses on topics of importance to working Rhode Island families. We hope you enjoy this evening's edition.
Welcome to Labor Vision. My name is Andrea James Gomez. I'm the Program Director at the Rhode Island Institute for Labor Studies and Research. This evening, we have two gentlemen from Beacon Mutual Insurance Company who are going to talk to us a little bit about the loss prevention department. So we have Mike Whittaker and Dave Cookson. Thank you for being here. So can we start by just hearing from you a little bit about exactly what the Beacon Mutual Insurance Company is?
Sure. Beacon Mutual is the premier writer of workers' compensation in the state of Rhode Island. We have a little more than 12,000 policyholders. We serve as the insurer of choice for many Rhode Island insurers, but we also serve as the market of last resort. Workers' compensation is all that we do, and we like to say that nobody does it better than us.
You guys sound like experts in the field, that's for sure. Could you tell us a little bit about the mission of the organization?
Sure. Beacon's mission is primarily to be a stabilizing force within the state to ensure the fiscal health and proper functioning of the workers' compensation system in the state. We do so pretty much by offering competitive programs, or innovative programs, competitive products, and we try to pride ourselves on the level of customer service that we provide to our policyholders and to their employees.
All right. Now that sounds like a pretty big mission, so why don't we focus a little bit on the side that you guys do with loss prevention. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Loss prevention serves as the eyes and the ears for the company. We go out, we work with policyholders to assess their risks, to see what they're doing, what controls that they have in place, and sometimes we'll make recommendations or suggestions to help improve overall workplace safety. We really take safety serious at Beacon. I mean, something that we do every day. We try to work with our policyholders. We try to a proactive approach with them to prevent the accidents and injuries.
Okay.
We like to say that it's all we do. Nobody does it better. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the fact that we have a staff of 9 highly trained, certified, and skilled consultants on our loss prevention team that go out and work with our policyholders. A lot of these folks came out of industry. Some had specific training for safety and health. Some basically came out of industry and have been doing it for a number of years. We have one gentleman who spent 30 years as a union carpenter working in safety all along the way. So there's a really diverse group of folks that we can send out there to help our policyholders.
Yeah. So you mentioned a lot about your policyholders. So can you tell us a little bit more about how you support them in the work that you do? Yeah,
pretty much. Some of the things that we go out there and do with our policyholders. I mean, first and foremost, as Michael mentioned earlier, we provide loss prevention services, a whole host of services. Everything from site assessment. First and foremost, we like to go out, we like to meet with our policyholders, we like to assess their safety programs, assess their physical plant, their operations. We make recommendations where warranted, suggestions where we think it would help improve their programs and whatnot. And then we have a whole host of services that we can prescribe to them. Oftentimes, it's not just a matter of telling a policyholder, you need to do something. Oftentimes, that something that they need to do, we can provide. In most cases, we can do it for them to help them along. Some of those things like on-site training, we do a tremendous amount of training at our employer locations. We have open seminars that our policyholders come to. They send their employees or they come themselves to our facility. And it's primarily OSHA awareness training. Okay. So we don't necessarily need to go out or want to go out and do the things employers are supposed to do to provide a safe workplace. We like to teach them the things that they can do to provide that safe workplace. Oftentimes those are mandated by OSHA. So we have the on-site training, we have the open seminars, we have online training. So there's a whole host of programs that we offer and services that we offer. And then finally, the resources that our staff bring out there besides their own skills and their own experience. We have any number of materials, handouts, booklets, posters, brochures, things that employers can use, again, to better their safety programs.
Yep. Oftentimes, too, we'll go out and when we do this training, we'll do it for first shift, second shift, third shift. So it's not just going out between 9 to 5. We'll go out, we've done it on Saturdays, we've done it on Sundays. We also have, under ergonomic staff. We have a very highly accredited ergonomic staff, and actually we have the most of any workers' compensation carrier serving Rhode Island. And we're very, very proud of that fact.
It's reminding me to sit up a little bit
Yeah,
straighter.
there you go.
Right?
Everyone says,
ergonomic.
Pop up.
Yeah. So all I've been hearing about so far is all this health and safety, right? So why is it that you put so much emphasis on workplace safety and health training?
Because safety is basically, it's good business. When you do the right thing, doing the right thing time and time again pays off. It pays off for businesses. It lowers costs. It basically increases productivity, and it also helps with employee morale. So the more that they can involve employees in the overall safety and health program and in the training and include them in developing the training, it really pays off in the long run for the business, and at the same time, the business can turn around and put more in for the employees. So it really is a win-win between both of them.
Sounds like smart business. So why is it so important that everyone in the workplace be properly trained, right? From the newest worker to the supervisors, managers, contractors, part-time, temporary, all of them, right?
There's a couple of things that we talk about there. I mean, first and foremost, it's the right thing to do. We'll say it again and again. Employers have an obligation and a duty to protect their employees, to make sure that they go home in the same condition that they arrived in. So there's a regulatory obligation, there's a humanistic obligation, and we see that as sort of overlapping. We don't necessarily differentiate one to the other. So the bottom line is we do as much of the training as we possibly can. We ask our employers to do as much of the training as we possibly can. And it's not just a matter of go out and do this and do this and do this. We're talking about people. We're talking about, it's not just a matter of giving someone the right tool to do the job, but you have to teach them how to use that tool. There's some great success stories that we've had over the years, and if I can share one.
Please do.
So we do a lot of training, and Mike and I don't do as much as our staff, and again, credit to them for all the work that our staff does. But about 2 years ago, my wife and I were at TF Green. We're walking through TSA. And the security agent, the TSA officer, looked at me and recognized me. I didn't know him. And he said he had attended a seminar I had done the previous year. So we started talking, trying not to hold up the line. And the moral of the story was, it wasn't my seminar that impressed him. It was one he had attended prior to that, conducted by one of our staff. And the story as he told it was, he was waiting for something to open at TSA, but he was working as a roofer. And he had attended one of our seminars, and he said what really impacted him, and he thinks made a difference, because he fell off the roof eventually, was that he had attended our training, and we reiterate the fact that you're given the fall protection equipment, here's how to use it, you need to use it, and we try to drive that home. And one of our instructors likes to ask folks when he's conducting a seminar, he'll look out and he teaches behavior-based safety. And he says, if you need an incentive to work safely and to do things right, if it's not about you, think of the 5 most important people in your life, and I want you to write their names down. And he stops the class and people write the name down of the 5 most important people in their life, and it's usually a spouse, children, family members, loved ones. He says, now, how would they be affected if you were to be hurt at work? And he said that was the one thing that stuck with him more than anything from any training, was that lesson. And he said he started taking his fall protection a little more seriously. Just prior to the job opening at TSA, he's on a roof one day, single-story home, not very high up, but he fell, and he was wearing the equipment his employer had issued. He was wearing it properly, and he received minor injuries, thank God. But had he not been wearing it, it could have been a totally different ending to the story. So that was a great way to start my vacation, our vacation, hearing that story, and just leaving knowing that in some small way, our staff made a difference. And we know that they make a difference every day in so many other ways.
Absolutely.
I went out, and the first time I met with the gentleman, he looked at me and said, Mike, we're having a lot of eye injuries. We're having a lot of injuries in the plant. So one of the things that we do is that we walk through the facility. And I noticed each time we walk through an area, it said safety glasses required. Well, I have my glasses on, my safety shoes on. The owner's walking with me, no safety glasses.
Oh, God.
So we walked through the whole plant and made some recommendations along the way, things that they needed to do. We get back to his office and he says, so what can I do? What is it that we need to be, what do we need to do differently? And I looked at him, I said, why aren't you wearing your glasses? Now, being as young as I was then, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get my head handed to me. And he just looked at me and goes, you know, I really don't know. I said, you set the example. If you're out there and the employees see you you're the one that they're going to follow. So I actually had made a recommendation that safety glasses need to be worn in all the areas identified. Well, I had gone out about 8 months later. In the meantime, he had done an assessment of what equipment needed to be worn. He had done training with the employees. Now, what he said to the employees was, if you catch me in the plant without my glasses, I'll give you 3 days off with pay. So he said that to the employees. He goes, this is so serious to me. This is what I need you to do. So I have to set the example. So when I went out to visit him, and I'm getting ready for the visit, I look and I noticed they hadn't had any injuries, really. I mean, maybe there were 1 or 2 the month after the visit, but then there really hadn't been any. So I walk in, I ask him how it's going, and he told me what happened during the training, that he basically threw down the gauntlet to the employees and said, look, this is serious. If you catch me, you get the days off. So he said it was about 3 months after the training. One day, he's going from his office, he's going to the cafeteria. He remembered he had to check on a rush job. He went, he made a cut through, he checked on the job, but unfortunately didn't have his glasses on. He felt a tap on his shoulder. He turned around and the employee was going like this, touching his glasses. He looked at him and he said, you're absolutely right. You tell me when you want those 3 days off. So he would walk the walk and talk the talk. Now, the company over the next couple of years, anytime a new hire came in, they were told about that story. And anytime I went to visit him, he would have a pair of safety glasses on his eyes, a pair on his head, and a pair in his pocket. He did not want to get caught short-handed again. So it was one way that that individual realized how important workplace safety was, that he had to set the example and the tone and to really get the employees involved in the process.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for sharing the stories. It really brings your mission and the work you do to life when you hear the actual impact.
It does. Which is something we've learned over time when you're teaching safety. It can be a pretty dry subject at times, so the more stories that you can interject and that you can share with the audience, I think those are the things that they tend to take home. So it makes a difference. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, how is it that Beacon helps employers to be OSHA compliant specifically?
That's not something, we will go out and we'll make some general recommendations and suggestions. But really, if somebody wants to know if they're OSHA compliant, the Rhode Island Department of Health has the OSHA Consultation Service, which is a tremendous organization. And they will go out and they will look at things just like OSHA will.
Okay.
And so if a company is looking to see how they would stack up against the OSHA standards, and just remember, OSHA standards are minimum.
Right.
So if we ever go out and we find a company and they say, we meet OSHA standards to a T, sometimes we might get a little afraid of those companies. We want to know that people are going above and beyond. But if somebody does want to find out how they stack up, they can simply call the Rhode Island Department of Health OSHA consultation, which is 401-222-7745.
You want to say that number one more time, Mr.
401-222-7745.
Beautiful.
We rehearsed that number all morning, so I'm glad you got it.
Well
Nice job.
done.
Yeah,
I
thanks.
can't remember. That's what cell phones are for, right?
Yes.
I don't memorize numbers anymore.
Well, I think it's important. Can we stay with that for one second?
Absolutely.
Because you say, how does Beacon help our policyholders be OSHA compliant? Often policyholders will call us and invite us to come out, and that's a wonderful thing when they say, come out and tell us everything you can find with our facility and everything you can find with our programs that we could improve upon. And the one thing that we always stress to those policyholders, first off, thank you for inviting us. It's a wonderful thing, but we can never really give anyone any sort of immunity from an OSHA inspection.
Yeah.
The best approach to take is the one Michael just mentioned. You call the Rhode Island Department of Health OSHA Consultation Service, you enter into an agreement with them, and there is some small level of immunity provided to Rhode Island employers who engage in that process. So if anyone is looking for that OSHA immunity, that's really the best approach.
All right.
So 401-222-7745.
Nice, thank you. So to wrap up our segment for today, why don't we just hear a little bit about how employers can take advantage of Beacon Mutual's loss prevention services?
Sure. So if they know who their designated loss prevention rep is or who the ergonomist is, they just need to call them. And oftentimes they will do that. Our loss prevention reps are called all the time by the people that they work with on a regular basis. If they don't have one, all they need to do is call 401-825-2667. and ask to speak to the loss prevention department. And they will be connected to someone. If they are asking for assistance with training, they would like us to come out and act as a second set of eyes, we'll be more than happy to do that. And we do get those questions quite often. The other thing is non-policy holders are able to utilize our services for a small fee.
Okay.
They would basically call the same number, the 401-825-2667, and let them know what they're looking for, and we have provided those to non-policy holders for a small fee.
Wonderful.
And there really is no limit. We have 12,000 plus policyholders. We touch several thousand of those each year, and there's no limit. In other words, you don't have to have a certain amount of premium paid to Beacon. All of the services that we offer, all of the services we've talked about, and even some we'll talk about later in this next segment, are all at no additional charge to our policyholder. You know, technically they're free, but for us, it's not accurate to say they're free because the policyholder is paying us a premium.
Right.
All of these services are at no additional charge. So we're never out trying to sell a policyholder on anything other than safety is a good idea, it's a good investment. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for sharing with us all of the services that you offer, not just to your policyholders, but to all Rhode Island employers. I know that we at Labor Vision Institute want to keep all workers safe, so thank you for taking that challenge on and doing the good work.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Check. Everybody see the check that we have over here?
What's the message to Recupero? Sign the check. Pay the money back.
The administration has been cutting our jobs, laying off our staff that we need to keep our patients safe. They're saying there's not enough money, so we need to make cuts. Meanwhile, they put $4 million. So we have a check right now. We have a check with us for $4 million.
All right. Come on.
My name is Summer Short. I'm a nurse on one of the intensive treatment units at Butler Hospital. I specifically work on R3, one of the units that's going to be affected by the decrease in staffing. They are saying that we're going to have a decrease in patient census, and we are full. 99% of the time we have a full unit, to the point that sometimes we have to put patients in conference rooms. So if, for instance, we have the amount of patients come in and we don't have, they're still going to send us the patients and we're still not going to have the staff. We're not going to be able to provide the time to our patients that they deserve, that they're looking for when they come into the hospital. They're looking to get better. We need to give them that one-to-one attention. We need to keep them safe. Unfortunately, from time to time, people do become aggressive only because of their illness, and we need to protect the patients and our staff.
So, has the decrease in staffing already affected patient care?
There was another unit that has seen a decrease in the staffing, and that has greatly decreased, affected the care that they're able to provide, because they're not able to sit down and give that one-to-one attention to that person who's maybe in the middle of having severe anxiety, or they're feeling severely depressed or suicidal. They're not able to do that for their patients, and it affects them as the staff greatly as well.
How long have you worked here?
I've worked here for 10 years.
Wow.
So, and I've started as a secretary, and I was a mental health worker, and now I'm a nurse. So I care greatly about Butler Hospital. I care about what our staff's vision is for our patients.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
Sign the check.
Sign the check now! 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 Sign the check!
Sign the check. Sign the check. Keep the cheap date. Patrick. I'm the vice president here in Rhode Island at 1199. Let's hear it. Butler, are you in the house? I just want to welcome up our sister from Women and Infants who actually comes over and works here occasionally at Butler. Linda Burke works in the NICU. She's a fleb. Come on over here, Linda. Yeah. I just wanted her to, so we had a picket line today at Women and Infants as well. We didn't get hit as hard there, but no layoffs. That's the word from both Women and Infants and Butler. No layoffs. No layoffs. There's plenty of work. There's plenty of things to do. There's plenty of patients to take care of. If there's a crisis in terms of money or alleged crisis in terms of money, start at the top. Start right there.
Right here.
There's plenty of money right there. So Linda, give us some greetings from the NICU.
Hi, everybody. I'm Linda Burke. I work in the NICU with our tiny babies. And from all of our babies, thank you to everybody that came out today, the media that's here. Our jobs are really important to those babies and to their families. And we really appreciate the support. Please help us, because these people are insane. These people are crazy. They want to take our team workers away from the bedside. And right, that's right. And the babies deserve better care, and so do our adult patients, and so do the patients at Butler Hospital, because the services that you guys all work together to provide here is incredible. And it's quality care, and your patients deserve that as well. Thank you, everybody.
Let's give a shout out to Summer from R3. She's going to share some words with us.
All right, guys. Most of you guys know that I worked here for 10 years. I started as a secretary, became a mental health worker. Now I'm a nurse on R3. I know the importance of every role in this hospital. Losing a mental health worker on our unit is going to be detrimental. It's going to take away time that we can give to our patients. We're not like a medical hospital. We don't just keep our patients in bed and just give them pills and IVs. We need to give them our time, and by losing a staff person, that's going to take more time away from that depressed person who's lying in bed, just hoping that somebody comes in and talks to them. It's going to give time away for that person who's suffering with anxiety in the midst of an anxiety attack, but we can't really get to them because we don't have enough time, because we don't have enough staff. I don't want to drive home every day like I have been, thinking if I just had a little bit more time with that patient, I could have made a difference in Jane Doe's care. So we're calling on the leadership of Care New England to come to give us the staff that we need to provide the care that we want to. Thank you.
Great job. Give it up, Summer. Pay it back. Pay it back now. 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 I just want to close with a couple of things. This is not Wall Street. This is not some for-profit company. This is a not-for-profit company. How many people live in Providence? You pay more taxes than they do, right? It's a tax-exempt organization, specifically chartered to help people with mental illness and substance abuse challenges. And many of the dollars they pay for care here are public money, whether it was funding to build the buildings, whether it was philanthropy that was tax-free, whether it was Medicaid dollars, whether it's expansion of the exchange on the ACA, all those things, we've been able to help so many more people, and so many more people have gotten access to the quality care here. There's no more wallet biopsy, right? If you have coverage, you get inpatient care. And that's wrong to take those dollars away from the patients and the workers that provide that care, which is you all. And it's a safety issue, because if we have fewer people on the unit, the likelihood that somebody's going to get hurt increases. So for the patient's safety, for our safety, we should go into work every day knowing that we can go home to our family
in one piece. That's not asking a lot, is it? No! That's fair. Yes. So put the money back into operations, give the money back. Recupero doesn't even work here anymore, and she's walking out with $2.7 million. By the way, that was just announced in their most recent 990. That's ridiculous. There's nobody that's worth $2.7 million. I don't know what she did, but she didn't cure $2.7 million worth of people. So what's the word? Sign the check.
Sign the check now!
Now.
Sign the check! Sign the check!
Now.
Sign the check!
Now.
Sign the check! 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 Now! Sign the check! Sign the check! Now! Sign the check! Now! Sign the check! Now! Sign the check! Now!
What do we want? Save staffing. What do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Save staffing!
What do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Save staffing!
When do we want it?
Now! What do we want?
Save staffing.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want? Save staffing!
When do we want it?
Now!
Everybody, rotate through and take a picture of yourself in front of that and post it to Facebook, okay? So maybe with your unit or your friends or your coworkers, come up, take a picture, we'll post it. We'll post them all on the website. All right, give it up for Mr. Anthony. Woo, Mr. Anthony. Let's pick it for a few more minutes, all right? All right. Thank you.
With corporate greed, up! With patient need, down! With corporate greed, up! With patient need, down! With corporate greed, up! With patient need, down! With corporate greed.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Labor Vision. We appreciate your input and encourage your comments. Labor Vision can be seen on this channel 3 times each week: Tuesday at 7 p.m., Thursday at 8 p.m., and Saturday at 5 p.m.